Check, baby. Check, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we're live. I am Manny Wolf, and I am the creator of the Coach's Branding Blueprint. I am the creator of the question mark story model. I am the creator of the 1000 Speakers Academy public speaker training system. And I am the founder of the Manny Wolf group on Facebook. So before we do anything else, come find me on Facebook and ask for permission to join Manny Wolf's group, the Manny Wolf group. And you can get more of everything that we're doing here. Hey, Danny. Hey, LZ. What's happening? Good morning, gentlemen. And today I have the onerous and dubious pleasure, and I say that sarcastically, of first bursting your bubble a little bit, and then second, hopefully helping you. But before I do that, what do you guys think about the new background? I moved my whole office around, and I really, really like it a lot better like this. What you cannot see is, hi, Alice, is directly on the other side of this. I have my black background and my camera set up. And over here, I don't know if you're like me and you geek out on whiteboards, but I've got like a big whiteboard on the left. I've got a month and a half calendar, a huge like 4x5, 3x4, whatever. It's a big calendar. It's a dry erase calendar, and it is it's got about a month and a half worth of spaces on it, so I can change it and dry erase it. And yeah, it makes me feel really good. Hey, Julius, how are you? So I'm reminded of reading the E-Myth Revisited, and I read that book and then I listened to it on DVD over and over and over again because I just thought it was that good. There's a point in there where Michael Gerber talks about what he has to do when people come to him and ask him about finding their purpose. And he described it so well. He said, every time I have to have the talk with someone about their purpose, I just sort of sigh and I roll up my sleeves knowing that I'm going to have to burst someone's bubble. And I think that's apropos for this, for what we're about to talk about today. Michael Gerber contends that we have a cultural misunderstanding of what purpose means in terms of entrepreneurs and our missions and all that stuff. And so there are a couple of other things that we also have misconceptions of and misunderstandings of that get in the way of your coaching business ever taking off. So that's what I'm going to kind of do today. I'm going to tell you why your coaching business will never really take off. And I don't do this to be a jerk, but you need to hear it because there's so much garbage information out there. There's so much bad information. You are being sold a bill of goods, and it is primarily aimed at the people selling you the bill of goods, selling you something to solve the problem they're creating in your mind. Now, that having been said, and with full disclosure, I too sell things. I have something I'd like to sell you, but not unless it's a good fit. I have the Coach's Branding Blueprint program, and it is a fabulous, fabulous program for helping you to think about your brand, which is how you show up on social media, its content, to think about how to treat your coaching business, and to hopefully, if I'm lucky, to get you out of the mindset that marketing alone is as potent for you as leveraging your personal brand. Okay, we've laid out a lot there, right? LZ says your style is more informative and offers services. You aren't a hard seller, which is why people gravitate to you. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I do not ever hard sell. It's true. I can't stand it. One of the things that I struggled with, LZ, for several years in this space was feeling like I had to learn how to close. I had to learn how to close people. I never wanted to close people because I resented being sold to. I had to do sales when I was a kid because they were the only jobs you could get. And, well, that, restaurant dishwasher jobs and stuff like that if you dropped out of high school. And I dropped out of high school. So it was very difficult. And so I was inundated with old school sales training, a fair bit of it, honestly. And this actually ties in very well to the argument I'm going to make in this live stream. So I was inundated with a lot of old school sales technique, and you may or may not know this. I hope you know this by now about me. I was actually born in a cult, and so we had a charismatic leader figure. And to me, the hardcore sales reminded me a lot of that. And I didn't like that. And I didn't like the hardcore sales, right? So Trish Lito. So I resisted, I rejected, and people always told me all my life, you should be in sales. And to me, that actually was an insult because sales to me was so similar to being raised in a cult. I know that sounds strange. Hey, Maria, but it was, right? It's manipulation. The old school sales stuff is manipulation. And if you get really good at it, what you're doing is getting really good at manipulating people. And that just grossed me out. So let's get to it, shall we? Here's the reason your coaching business will never take off. Because you are thinking in terms of, let me see, one of my sort of, hopefully these are famous by now, my line drawing diagrams. Bear with me here. Here's how you are thinking. You see this here? This is your product. This is your coaching service, okay? This is what you're trying to sell and bring to the marketplace. And everyone is out there telling you that in order to sell more of this, you have to get better at marketing. Now, obviously, there's truth to that, but it's an incomplete truth because getting better at marketing does this. Here is the person that you want to sell to, right? This is the person that you want to bring here. What marketing alone does, bear with me here, kids, is it teaches you how to refine this straight line, right? It teaches you how to refine that straight line and get better and better at the process of attracting, building the trust, converting to client, and then hopefully, for God's sakes, delivering. If you can't deliver the quality you're promising, get off my live streams, get off my friends list, get the hell away from me. And I mean that, like I'm so done with the hucksters and the shucksters. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Maria. Hey, Omid. Hope I said that right. Omid, Claire Dowdle. So this funny little drawing to me represents marketing. Marketing is, here's your product, here's your customer. What is the process that brings them together? Now, obviously that's important because if they don't come together with your product, you don't make any money. But here, my friends, is what you have been missing. Let me just make sure this pen works. I'm not sure this pen works well enough. We'll see if it shows up on camera. Can you guys see those little orange X's? No, Claire, you're not allowed to disagree. Not until you hear my whole argument. You see all these extra little X's here? those represent opportunity that you will never, ever get by only thinking about marketing in terms of going out and refining the process of finding the client. All right, so what are all these other opportunities out here? What are all of these? So these would be, for instance, joint ventures. These would be partnerships. These would be mutual beneficiary relationships. These would be just any of the other ways that are sort of indirect that bring opportunity to us. Now, how do we then go about trying to get access to all of these other things? How do we do this? How do we make all of these pay? Here's in a nutshell, here's what it is. It is a perception shift. It's a shift in your focus from this old school idea that I've got this thing and I want to sell this thing and I have to refine basically my funnel, my method of getting people to come buy it. This is my funny little diagram that is meant to illustrate the difference between the power of marketing, which is awesome. By the way, let's just be clear, marketing is important, and personal branding. I want to teach you guys something on this one rather than just give you some sort of, overarching idea about something. Here's the difference between thinking of yourself as a brand and fusing branding with your marketing and only focusing on marketing, as in client attraction and conversion. If you think of yourself in terms of your personal brand, you will focus more on putting your personality out into the marketplace. You will focus more on the long game. The long game is what wins. The long game is where you do the leveraged activities. For instance, let's say you're organic. Your focus is organic marketing. Let's just say that for the sake of argument. Your focus is organic marketing. That means that you're going to be, running one of probably a fairly limited amount of channels to promote what you have. You may have built an email list. You certainly have social media where you can make offers. You might have a chat bot with some people in it, and that's where you can make your offer. But if you're a service provider and you're thinking in terms of, I've got product X that solves problem Y, and now I need to bring people to it, all you can really do is continue to try to grow those lists and hit them with offers. That's it. Now, if you're running ads, then you obviously amplify that, but it's still fundamentally the same thing. Offer, person brought to offer, right? Branding, however, opens up a whole other spectrum of opportunities for you. For instance, if your personal brand grows to a big enough level, you now have the ability to leverage other influencers. You now have the ability to reach out to, at a certain level, let's face it, you can reach out to companies. Marvin says organic takes way too long, but it'll get you there eventually if you're consistent. Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on what your goals are, right, Marv? Because I know plenty of people making 20, 30, 40, 50K a month using organic strategies. And so it just depends. But I would actually argue that for initial sales, organic is the fastest way to go, or it can be. But here's what I want you to understand. It's not about the short wins. What I want you to think about, because you don't have to stop marketing, right? But if you change your perspective, If you change your perspective into one of growing your personal brand, then what happens is you raise your awareness, you raise your audience size, and these things give you, hey, Karina, especially raising your awareness with other people and your audience size gives you a leverage that just doing marketing will never give you, right? If you get really, really good at marketing your product and you can, let's say you build a funnel that's operating independently of you and it's bringing you sales day and night, of course, that's great. That's the goal of a funnel. However, you get your personal brand up to a high enough level, now you can reach out to, and I'm just going to say some names arbitrarily, so don't judge me by the names. So like you could reach out to Tai Lopez, you could reach out to Grant Cardone, you could reach out to whomever, right? If your personal brand is strong enough, they're going to look at you and say, yeah, I'll take your call. If your audience is big enough, they're going to look at you and say, yeah, I'll take your call. And it opens up all kinds of possibilities. You grow your email list big enough and those people on the list know, like, and trust you, then you have joint venture possibilities that you would never get just with the focus on marketing. You see what I'm saying? So the personal brand is a deliberate focus on growing your audience and developing trust with them. Whereas marketing doesn't necessarily have those things. Marketing is just the science of reaching out and getting someone to say yes. Right? You get what I'm saying? Now, Marvin says, I build organic relationships through automations triggered based on engagement and just flood the lead magnet with fresh traffic. Honestly, I'm not even sure I understand what that means. I think I get it, though. I think I get what you're saying. I'd be curious to learn about the automations that build organic relationships, because on the surface, that sounds impossible. But it could be. It could totally be possible. But what I want you to understand is that, especially like using the organic example, you will back yourself into a corner eventually, because what happens is your audience gets burnt out on your offer. So now you get to create new offers, or you have to create new offers, and you got to come up with new ways to sort of capture the interest of your market, right? Your audience. And this is another way that personal branding is a more powerful thing to think of than marketing. Why? If you only focus on marketing, first of all, you don't necessarily connect you to the product, which you should. Second, you're not as focused on taking people through a know, like, and trust journey based on you. So if you are focused on taking people through a know, like, and trust journey based on you, here's what happens. They want you to grow, change, and evolve. What does that mean? That means that you can dream up new services, new offers, new products, new ideas, and your audience wants that from you. Do you see that shift? Do you see what I'm saying? So if you are focused on just bringing your product to market and marketing it to sell it, you don't have that long-term flexibility. Let's say 3 years from now, the thing you're selling today isn't relevant to you anymore, which is very, very likely and possible. I want you to understand that. It's very possible that in 3 years, what you're doing today won't interest you anymore. If you focus on your personal brand, you can adapt. You can evolve, you can iterate, and your audience loves it because they're with you on a long-term journey. They're with you as you grow. They want that from you because you've taken the time to sort of digitally make friends with them rather than positioning yourself as the coach who does this. Get it? Get it? Get it? Who else just came on? Dan McPherson, Brianna Cabez. Hope I said that right. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Appreciate you jumping on. We're talking about the difference between pure marketing and thinking of yourself as a personal brand, and how in the long run, thinking of yourself as a personal brand opens up infinitely more possibilities for you than only focusing on marketing your product, service, coaching, whatever it is. So how then do we position ourselves as a personal brand? How do we do it? Well, in addition to trying to sell what you sell, you have to put yourself out there. So you got to put yourself out there. You got to show personality first. And you have to have the courage to let half the people not like you, right? This is the part I find that people really get caught up in. Even though we know that we have to be polarizing and we know all these things, when it comes time to put it into practice, we really struggle. We really, really don't want people to not like us. But guess what? If you grow to the level that I assume you want to grow to, people are going to not like you anyway. Just, you need to bite the bullet on that and just accept it. And start putting out content just for the sake of letting people get to know who you are. Just for the sake of growing your awareness and your audience. Yeah, Marv, me too, man. By the way, you guys, in case you don't know, I'm going to be hosting a training into Marvin Wesley Kaufman's group, Wave Makers. And you guys should go over and look at Wave Makers and think about joining, because Marvin is doing big things for his people. Dude, you lead with your heart, man. You really do, Marv. And so I'm giving him a shout out right here because he deserves it. Anyway, so the personal branding piece is more holistic. I think that's a good way to think about it. It's more of a holistic way to approach using social media. YouTube influencers, perfect example, right? They spend time, they spend energy, they spend money to get people to like them. Now, I'm not suggesting that all YouTube influencers are worth your attention and your adulation. That's not the point. The point is this. The big ones, I don't know if you guys know this, but did you know that they have these tours of multiple influencers and they just go on tour together? Like, they don't even have any specific skill set. It's not like a musical tour. It's not like any kind of tour. It's just a whole bunch of people who have big followings. But here's the thing that's interesting about it. Because they've spent the time to build the personal brand, in other words, the big audience who loves them, they can do anything they want. Yeah, nice, Marv, nice. They can do anything they want now. And so they make their money, of course, by advertisements and by video views and stuff like that, but they make their money just dreaming up new stuff to do. I was told the other day about two influencers. I don't know them because I don't follow those type of influencers. But think about this. These two guys did a boxing match. Neither one is a boxer. They're just two dudes. They're just two dudes with big followings. They decided they'd do a boxing match, and they sold, I think, in-person tickets and pay-per-view tickets. And they wound up making an astronomical amount of money. It was something like $150 million just for two bozos to get in the ring and box with each other. Neither one was a boxer. The fight, I didn't even see it. If it could be called a fight, it could not possibly have been as good as like a real boxing match, right? But these guys killed it. They killed it. They made more than like the championship match for whoever. Think about that. Why? They did it because they were able to do it because they built an audience and a personal brand first. Am I suggesting you follow this? No, I'm not. But I want you to understand the power, the freedom, and just the amazing opportunities that come when you focus on building your brand versus marketing your product. So put that content out there. Make that content personable. Show your personality. Learn how to retarget so that when you've got a big audience who has voted for your personality, you can then move them through a gentle process of know, like, and trust with different kinds of content. But you start by sharing your personality and letting people decide if they like you or not. That's the long-term play. Let me share from my own experience what I've seen in my business as a result of shifting my focus to this. I hope it would go without saying that my income has improved dramatically. In fact, from last year to this year, I quadrupled, 4x'd my income from last year to this year. But here's the thing. So that's really cool. And let's be clear on that. That's a really, really cool thing. And it feels amazing. But here's what I want you to understand. Quadrupling my income was and is great. But the people who come to me to hire me now, to work with me, to buy my product, it's people who have warmed themselves up. They've already decided they want to work with me. Think about that. How many times in a month do you get people that reach out to you already ready to work with you? I mean, isn't that better? So I'm making more money. I'm selling far less. I have the opportunity to do things like I'm doing right now, where instead of promoting my own product right now, I'm going to promote a friend's product that I believe in. And we're just going to see how that goes. Right? And the only reason I can do that with a high level service like the one that I'm promoting currently for a friend of mine is because I've built trust. Now, if I was just marketing my product over and over again, this team up would never work. I would have nothing to offer them. So I've got people coming to me, people who I don't know. Yeah, Marvin, y'all see Manny showing up daily and dropping value? That's how he 4x'd his income. That's true. That's absolutely true. And the other piece is that, again, I can't stress this enough. The feeling of people coming to you already warmed up and trusting you versus having to build trust with people, especially on a sales call, night and day. Night and day difference. Okay, that's what I want you to understand. So I don't really even do offers so much anymore, not as much as I used to, because I've got people trickling in all the time. And this is the power of a personal brand. So about a month and a half ago, I decided I'd like to try and do some partnerships. So I made a list of people and I reached out to them. 7 people, including Marvin. Every single one of them said yes. That's the power of the personal brand. Should you do this instead of marketing? No. You should fuse the two. You need to do both. You need to do both, right? So let's be clear about that. Fuse them together, marry them together, but focus on sharing your personality with people. That's step 1. I want to thank you guys. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate your support. And I will see you tomorrow. No real call to action today, except to start sharing your personality. Don't be afraid. Get out there, hang it out there. Let the world decide who likes you and who doesn't. And watch your income, your credibility, your awareness, and your personal brand grow. Thanks, guys. My pleasure, Sarah.